We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long, long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
Seconds left in the session. Fantastic. You've got pole.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. De Vries, Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to...
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
New drivers, new cars, it's a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that plays host to round 1 of a 21-race championship that takes us from here in Australia across the globe and the eventual season finale at the Yas Island circuit in Abu Dhabi. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with tweaks to the regulations, a fresh-looking spread of tyre compounds, and of course some changes to the roster of car manufacturers. It's goodbye to Sauber and hello once again to the classic name of Alfa Romeo in Formula One. It's also goodbye to Force India. They've been rebranded as Racing Point. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2019 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 5th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the performance of Red Bull, who have switched to the Honda power unit this year. What that will mean for both their performance and reliability remains to be seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. De Vries lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Albon, Hülkenberg, Perez, Ricciardo and Lando Norris, Sainz, Raikkonen, Lance Stroll and Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Roman Grosjean. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. Safety car deployed. The Approaching the safety car. You're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car. Okay, the safety car is coming in this lap. We'll be pacing the field in Sector 3. Make sure to respect the delta until the safety car is in the pit lane. Okay, clear. Remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. Release. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Lewis is in the pits. Fantastic! You've won the Grand Prix.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. De Vries takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
For me, it's Kimi Raikkonen, someone who definitely doesn't get enough attention for how well he performs out on the track.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes moved to the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? You had a close battle today, didn't you? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip or did you just misjudge some corners? Well, thanks anyway.
Keep pushing like this for the rest of the season. Looks like one of your rivals is also going to an upcoming historical event. If you choose to take him on, it might help get your name out there a bit.